server
2,
connected to the cloud.
3,
3.
4,
We got Mark counting. That's very exciting.
5,
He's gonna
Yeah,
keep doing this.
I'm recording.
He's gonna be like a 28. He's
6.
gonna be like a kid. He's gonna be a 28, and then he's not gonna remember the next number. It is interesting when kids stop. They don't. You'd think they'd stop at a round number, but that's not necessarily the case.
They stop when they get bored.
16. Well, no, they just can't remember 17.
Oh yeah, those ones catch them out.
Now I'm recording.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me. Let's see, Luke, are you still eating? Should we vamp for?
Are we gonna do a listen, you cunt?
What?
Are we gonna do a listen, you cunt? Shit.
Oh, what's happening?
It's a stupid cable. I just kicked it with my foot. It's an external thing. It has nothing to do with the other thing.
Okay. No, last night when I was like, why isn't my guitar plugged in my iPad anymore? And it turned out just the cable was crap, it wasn't crap before. It suddenly went crap. So,
Well, yeah, that's what happens is things break and then they're broken. Yeah. Especially cables. Cables are terrible. That's why everything should be on the cloud.
Well, you can't really plug the guitar into the cloud. I mean, you could, but
yes,
you'd still need a cable. You'd still need a cable, though. Or at least something to plug in there.
Plug it into the cloud. Wirelessly into the cloud.
I was watching Buster Scruggs. I'd never seen that. That's a movie that nobody knew existed,
never seen.
really.
I knew it existed. I just never watched it.
I've seen it.
Okay, because it only played in like 3 theaters. Yeah. Maybe in the UK it played in some more. So
no, it was a Netflix original.
All right, yeah, it did play in like 3 theaters, but yeah, just like it's like how I keep telling people to watch The Killer because it was just a movie that doesn't quite exist, So I guess Buster Scruggs.
Mark, it came out while I was in Japan.
Oh, okay. So
I watched it with Rob.
Anyway, I'm just surprised I didn't even know it existed.
I have this weird thing where if directors make a certain amount of movies, I just stop remembering to go see them, and I just forget. I forget that happens with
especially
TV
once
series.
They pass age 60.
It's just, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of good Coen movies. The last one I saw, I think, was A Serious Man, which was probably like 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. So you didn't see, what came out after it? You didn't see True Grit or Hail Caesar?
Oh, I saw True Grit. I think True Grit came out way before that, right?
Although I don't think that, no, it came out after
A
Serious Man, like right after.
Maybe True Grit was the last one I saw. I don't know.
Okay. Hail Caesar's worth it for sure.
Did not see Hail Caesar.
Okay. That's kind of one of my favorite Coens, actually. I would rank that maybe top 5. Well, top 5 at least.
I honestly wanted to see it, and I just didn't get around to it.
That's like an extra hit of Dumb Clooney for their Dumb Clooney trilogy. It gets 4 parts, right? Because dumb people can't count.
Sure.
Yeah, that first.
I mean, like, I'm probably gonna go see the new Lynn Ramsey movie tonight, and the last movie she did was like 2017.
Okay, silence. Let us proceed. 3, 2, 1. Listen, you
cunt.
I've been recording.
Yeah, that's not to start the recording. That's to sync if we use the local method. Are you ready to get fast?
That was a slow way to do it. All right, what are we doing here? Things are different now.
We didn't talk about how we were going to start this.
No one started. I thought we'd come ripping on into our new episode, and that's not happening. But we can tell people what's up. We're having a read.
That's what happens.
Maybe your music did it, which we haven't heard yet. So
you don't have to tell people that.
That got people ramped up, and then they get into us just like not knowing how to start the thing. That's. I mean, I guess that's how podcasts work, right?
Well, what's more fast and furious than just stumbling over yourself as you try to cross some kind of starting line, and then your car blows up because you're a cop and you don't know how to race? Anyway, it's the Fast and Furious.
And Furious Filth. That's how you get your car rolling. Am I gonna blow out my voice doing these films? Yes, we've taken a detour. We're on the service road, but we're going real fast on the service road, as we cover the Fast and Furious films. We're on the first one. Um, Luke, your well introductions, right? Matt here,
Luke here.
Mark here.
Mark last day. So anyway,
Righteous.
Luke, you're the long-standing fan of these films. If you want to kind of like roll us
Um,
in,
in a way, I am, but even I got into them pretty late. I remember them being a thing in the 2000s because obviously these were popular with 13-year-old boys, which I was, because like, I was watching this film and I realized that it's like Tron or Free Guy, in that this film takes place in a PS2 game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, this is
okay.
a world where women just walk around in no clothes. Everyone cares about car racing. No, no one acts like a human.
Yeah, in the party scene, I was definitely like, I don't want to be at this party. This is the last party I want to be at. I want to be at somebody else's party, you know?
I think I've been at this party. I
I
actually
think I
felt
might have
pretty at
been at the
home.
party, which is one of the reasons it's like I'm put off by this party. But everything's supposed to be awesome at the party,
But
right?
yeah, like
But
this one was okay. I remember this one, and then two, I just remember the name being a thing.
we'll
Um,
get to that one. That one, of
Tokyo
course, is a
Drift was
Well,
very popular growing up
hmm.
because that's the one that's the most about street racing. That one is literally just like a Ridge Racer movie.
We're gonna have to talk about that one when we get to it, of course, because
Yeah,
that
but
one I
then
feel like
wow.
I didn't get into the series until I went and saw Fast Five at the theater with my then girlfriend because it had The Rock in it.
Hmm.
And even then, I was like, oh, it was okay. And then a couple of films after that, I decided to do the whole series, and then I got hooked on them when I realized how dumb they are.
Well, I've kind of chronicled this on this podcast where I just randomly watched Hobbs and Shaw, which I think is something like the ninth movie in chronological order, and
Hmm.
I loved
it's
it
like off in space. It's in a
tremendously.
sidebar.
Yeah, but I've been meaning to just get around to watching these for some time, and then I kind of slammed through the first two, partly while I was at work, and just was like, "Hey, you guys, you want to do this podcast?" And here we are. Yeah, this is fun. I would be at this party. That, like what you said, Luke, about it being kind of a fantasy world makes a lot of sense. It kind of feels like a world where like the idea of money is kind of vague and nebulous, and also the idea of actual consequences for police consequences, violent consequences is sort of vague. Like people shoot things and then nothing happens.
Police are just buzzkills in this world.
They just show up to pressure the guy and then leave.
Yeah, but yeah, my trip, I guess, Mark, I'm pretty much on your end where I watched Hobbs and Shaw first, although that was 5 years ago for the earlier version of this
Mhm.
podcast. And then I Black Friday the first 8 movies on Blu-ray and finally got around to starting them like and only watched the first two, and then I got to watch things for podcasts, so I just didn't make it through more, and now we have a reason to make it through more, so that's good. I
Yeah,
still
there
haven't
there
watched
are a
all the police
couple.
academies. I watched a
there
couple of them.
Well, yeah, I got the 4K of the first 8 films on eBay for $20. So that's
Ooh,
cool.
right.
I'm just
No
watching them on
digital.
Netflix.
That's good. I mean, yeah, there's no digital, but the last time I got something with the digital code in it, the code didn't work, even though I bought it new. In fact, that happened, I think, the last 2 times I bought a brand new Blu-ray.
The
So
the
digital.
code only works for like a year or two though, right? And then it
That's
expires.
stupid. Why
That
should a
is
code expire? It's what digital data doesn't expire. Companies should go to hell. Go
Yeah,
to
I
hell,
had that with my.
Universal.
I bought the Devil May Cry trilogy, and only the first one is on the cartridge, and the other two are on a code that had expired.
That's so.
See,
Yeah.
that's
See,
worse because you didn't get the advertised stuff. I mean, if you
Yeah.
got the movie, you got the movie, and I mean you can find it digitally,
if
can't you?
if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't theft. That's
Hmm.
what this podcast is about.
Well, and that's a very appropriate mindset to bring into the Fast and Furious films. Another reason I didn't like them when I first encountered them, that was back when I thought I wanted to be a cop, and I was of the childish belief that illegal means bad. Whereas now, I very much fuck the police, and I've realized that the legal system doesn't exist to protect people; it exists to protect profit and interest of the rich billionaire class. So
Uh,
yeah, piracy is cool. Street racing is cool. Robbing trucks full of DVD players is cool.
Yeah, we'll
The
get into it,
DVDs were
but it's
players were legit. They were legit, man. Legit
Yeah,
DVD
his ones were, not the ones Tom was flipping.
I would say that I definitely, if I'd watched this when it came out, my feelings around, Brian, the cop who is the one good cop, would be he's gonna make everything okay. Where now I feel this sense of dread that if you let him help you, you will end up in prison as slave labor. So it is kind of reframed. I don't think that I don't look at that character as like somebody who has a bad heart or anything, or bad intentions, but I don't think he understands what he's sending people off to when he arrests them. He seems like that kind of cop.
You will see his you will see his relationship with the law and his disillusionment develop over the series
Yeah,
in a way.
it already happens in the second movie, and
Yeah,
it's a
true.
nice. It's nice to give somebody an arc through. If you're going to do
Thank you, my
sequels,
love.
hey,
Hello.
it's nice to. If you're going to do sequels, it's nice to give characters a
Just
big
like a
long arc.
character in the Fast and Furious, my Latina partner just exists to bring me drinks.
Isn't she doing these
Hey,
episodes?
Hey, she could
You also
also
hear
probably.
this.
She also could probably drive a car really fast underneath a truck and sabotage it.
I think Marcy is terrified of driving at regular speeds, so
Ah.
she will not be driving at wild speeds.
I definitely kept
So,
thinking of the Chevy Chase scene in Christmas Vacation when he gets stuck underneath the truck. I'm like, that's just a move for these guys. Chevy Chase has that,
Hmm.
all the saps raining down, and yeah, these people are like, wow, right on through. They can mac it. I feel like I don't know how hard would it be to learn to drive a car like this if you really worked at
so
it and didn't
let,
die.
let's let's get into it.
I mean, it is a thing people learn.
What's the fastest you guys have ever driven?
Driven, I did
Or
hit
ridden.
100,
Period.
100 miles per hour. It was in my little Ford KA, and it started shaking so much it was like the screws were going to start shooting out, like Apollo 13 or something. But I have been a passenger in a police car in a chase,
Ah,
so I've gone pretty
oh
fast.
man.
Okay, see,
Wow.
I was a
That's when I learned
passenger.
what that little handle is for.
Yeah, we call it the oh shit handle in the States.
Yep.
Mhm.
No, I guess I know the fastest was not me driving. I remember this in high school, and it was one of my classmates, and she was driving at over 100 down 85 as we were going to the Shakespeare Tavern.
I
So
mean, I've ridden in the
Wow.
Shinkansen, and that goes at like 200 kilometers an hour. And of
that's
course,
not a
trains are
car.
better than cars. So, as
Yeah,
the end of
I'd
this
admit.
film conclusively proves.
Question was
Well,
cars.
but are we going to get multi-track drifting in this series?
I don't think we get much train action in this series, unfortunately.
We get a Fast Five starts with a train, doesn't it? I have seen the first 20 minutes of that
But
one.
does it do multi-track drifting? Do you guys know what
Oh,
I'm
does
talking
it?
about?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's a little
okay.
anime. It's an old infamous manga clip.
An old joke, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I
Um,
didn't catch that one. I
the
was just thinking like
fastest
real
I've
trains.
Yeah, the fastest I've driven is about 110 because I bought like a car that was a year old when I was much younger. It was like a stupid idea. I shouldn't have bought that new of a car, but it was so, you know, perfect. It was operating so perfectly that I could just drive 110. It didn't really matter.
Hell
And
yeah.
also it was the only time I've owned a stick shift,
Oh,
which
I've
made it much
never
faster.
driven anything but a stick shift.
Oh
In the
man, it's
UK,
the best.
almost everyone learns stick shift. And like people I know who learned automatic, we don't consider them knowing how to drive.
Mm. See, in Japan, I
Yeah,
only have the
Matt.
automatic license. I'd like to have a stick shift license, but a foreigner getting a license in Japan, especially an American getting a license in Japan, is already like
Oh, I can
a
just
battle.
convert mine
So,
across.
Yeah.
no, I
So
know you can.
I need
I'm
to do
talking
it next year,
Americans.
actually.
Yeah.
I
Then
I
I'm gonna
don't
buy a Subaru Impreza and start drifting around the mountains.
yeah. Yeah, I have attempted to buy a stick shift the last two times I've been car shopping and basically not been able to come up with anything. It was kind of funny that stick shift car, I did own it for like 10 years. And I don't think I was very good at it because a couple of different people when I was car shopping were like, man, maybe you should get an automatic.
See, no, that wouldn't even be considered in the UK. There's so few automatics. Everyone drives stick.
See, I
Ah,
still I
I
still
just
get
need
the
to
And
live
old
there.
it like
That would be
It
so
probably
weird if I
is
moved to
really
the UK.
nice to drive an automatic, but like it's just so much cooler to do the gears.
Well,
You
you
feel
know, in
connected
Nagano,
to
we
it.
do
Feels
so
like
much.
an analog machine.
We're up in the mountains, so we do so much mountain driving that you end up having, even in an automatic, you need to downshift a lot as you're
Mm.
driving around. I remember one of our coworkers, Joe, way back when we went skiing and coming down the mountain, he was using his brakes the whole way. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna incinerate your brakes, man. Downshift.
We had a quite a long hill down into my hometown, and the game used to be you would just turn off your engine at the top and see if you could coast all the way into town.
Nice.
My
And
mom would
one
do
time
that,
my
weirdly
friend was
enough.
doing that and he didn't want to stop, so I jumped out the moving car to go home.
How fast was it?
Oh, not very fast.
How
It still felt
furious
pretty
was it?
cool. No, we were all having a wonderful time, to be honest.
Yeah, no, and I remember my mom often seeing like, how long can I go in neutral for? Which is kind of, if you know, kind of weird for her personality type. So,
Mm.
That
I've been known to do that time to time though. So yeah, it is fun to see how long you can drift in neutral for a while. Drift, sorry, just roll. I should say roll.
mm.
That's not drifting in this case because we're
So,
in this film series. I
No,
gotta
you have
use
to
the
be going
word
sideways.
correctly. Yeah.
Mark, you said like, oh, this film was fun. But I was kind of surprised to hear you say that because this feels like you guys grew up watching 80s and 90s films where the
Mm.
violence was gory and the sexy ladies had their tits out. Whereas this, I
Mm.
think, is the start of the era where it switched to like they're specifically targeting like a 13-year-old boy. So the violence is kept a little bit tame and the girls are just wearing slightly skimpy outfits. And it just ends up feeling, if anything, like both versions are exploiting women, right? But there's an honesty to it in like a Schwarzenegger film. Whereas here it feels like, and I guess partly because it's targeting like younger guys, it feels more insidious.
Well, I feel like this is kind of a soft remake, and I don't think I'm the
Are
first
you gonna
person
say
to say
Point
this.
Break?
Yeah, I'm going to say
Yeah,
that, which
everyone.
Sure.
but that's kind of the prototype of the slightly that's Point Break
Mm,
actually is in the Schwarzenegger era where it is the more 13-year-old boy version,
you're
right?
right. You're absolutely right.
It's the first time that really works. So when Paul Walker does the skulls, it's like kind of popular. You know, they're like,
Hmm.
we kind of want to make this guy a leading man, but we're not. You know, he still needs to be in like a two-hander. That's where Vin Diesel
Yeah.
comes in, who is also kind of in the same position. I think he was a little more successful by this point, right? But yeah, that's kind of how this comes out. It's like, well, it's the same mixture of like Patrick Swayze and Keanu from way back when, so it kind of
Hmm.
makes sense to try and roll into that vibe. Makes sense. I mean, for a business sense, I guess this is one of those
Well,
things where a
and
lot
I
of
guess it also makes sense in both Point Break and Fast and Furious's case that they're selling it not primarily as a cop action movie, but as a surfing movie or street racing movie. And then they have to put a cop subplot in there because they don't know any other way to make drama in an action film.
even for me, this is the second time I watched this first film, and 45 minutes in when he starts mentioning he's a cop again, I'm like, oh yeah, he is, isn't he? What do you know? I forgot
I
about that.
actually really like that as it's like the Terminator 2 thing where if you'd seen any trailers you would know. But
Yeah.
internally within the film, it does a good job of like, oh, okay. And I think Mercy didn't know. She like turned to me like, he's a cop.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I guess I knew
Okay, that's
coming
pretty
in.
cool then. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think honestly I like this better than Point Break because Point Break to me is kind of a bummer movie because it's kind of about hanging out with somebody who kind of sucks and having a really kind of a shitty time because they're kind of a drag. That's kind of like the feeling I got from that when I was a kid. I was like, these guys kind of like not Keanu Reeves, but who is it? Kiefer Sutherland was the other guy.
Swayze.
No, Swayze.
Patrick Swayze was kind of like an energy vampire, like kind of a shithead.
Oh, he's
and
great in that movie,
also,
right?
sure. I mean, he does a good job, but
I
it's
guess
not,
if I was
I don't
gonna
think
hang
it's
out with one
fun.
of them, it would be Dom and his family, not
Oh yeah,
Swayze
Yeah,
is
they're
fucking
fun.
his beach cult.
Yeah, and also controversial. It's like not easy to make surfing look fun. Like
It's definitely not
whatever.
easy to make surfing look cool on camera the way street racing
Wait,
does.
street racing. Yeah, this is fun because it feels really dangerous, and they probably spent a lot of money on having cars go real fast, and it works.
Although
I don't
going
know.
back to this one, having watched especially Tokyo Drift, but also just generally the series. I forgot all the races are just drag races, the most boring kind of race.
Yes, that is true.
Well,
It's
there's
not.
that thing with the
At least in
truck. I
this,
mean, that was a
There's a couple of set pieces.
that was almost yeah. I was about
no,
to
but
say.
I
I
mean
mean,
specifically the races
oh, okay, yeah.
are just drag
Yeah.
race. There's car chases, which are cool. And at least they drag race with a train at the end, which is kind of fun.
Right, because
That
watching
was
this
great.
time, I was like, oh yeah, that climactic sequence, which is that one
I
is
always misremember it that he hits the train, but it's not. He goes past the train and then hits a truck.
yeah. No, I'm thinking before the train, that whole sequence like in the desert on the road. I was like, I was watching last night. I
Oh,
was
like the
like,
truck chase and stuff.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this is actually, and maybe one of the reasons the first film's not the best regarded, but it is like, okay, this is actually hitting some nice George Miller like Mad Max sort of vibes
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah.
So
That those are real cars on camera with stuntmen.
yeah,
There
and
were
that's
some
still the thing you
very
can't
obvious
CG.
not Brian stuntmen.
Yeah, and the CGI when it goes inside the engine is pretty bad, but it gets the point across at
Oh yeah,
least.
it's like because it's not trying to do something that could be a car. It's just showing you wacky internal electrics. You don't care
It's
that it
not the
looks.
main
Yeah.
money shot, you know.
Yeah,
It's just like that's the problem when you watch a film and then the main you're like, oh, what the speaking of the Rock again and the Mummy Returns when the Rock
yeah. You
does
finally get to the Rock, and
Mhm.
it's his fucking PS2 model.
right, and
Yeah,
that's the
that's
money
very
shot of the
bad.
film. That's a
Yeah,
problem. A dodgy shot of going into an engine just as a stylistic choice, whatever, don't care, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
Um,
you're never gonna look inside an engine. Like recently, I rewatched The Fifth Element, and man, the flying cars look like dog shit in that movie. It's not. It doesn't ruin anything, but like any. Like, I remember when I saw that when it came out that it looked great, and now it just doesn't. It
but
looks
that's because you're
terrible.
remembering the John Paul Gaultier fashion and the fucking
Well,
animatronic
just the
animals
cars.
and the yeah.
I know
No,
there's a
that's
lot of
timeless. The fashion
as
is
digital as it
timeless.
is, there's a lot of cool analog shit in there too.
I'm
But
I'm just talking about the cars, nothing
Yeah.
else.
yeah,
Everything else, the
Well, that's what
cars
we
and
should be
the
doing. Is just talking about the cars.
yeah.
right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
have to check out Attack of the Clones again, see how those cars check out in Coruscant.
There's
A
there's
movie I've
almost
actually only
an
seen once.
there's almost a tangent between this and Attack of the Clones that I was going to not going to bring up, but now I'm going to
Go on
because
Okay.
then.
I
I
just set
thought
you up for it.
Jesse was the same guy who was Mouse from the Matrix, but he wasn't.
Oh
The
well.
guy who was Mouse in the Matrix also was the guy who sold death sticks in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what the guy who sold death sticks name is? Do you know what his character's
I
name
think I
is?
have heard it before, but go on, tell me.
Elon Sleazebagano.
Okay, that's a
Hell yeah.
worthwhile tangent. Well, before we get too much deeper, Mark, you want to give us the plot summary for Point Break?
Okay, this is a plotty ass movie, and I tried to make this short, but it's not.
I'll take a
Uh,
nap.
we open on a
Drink
heavily
this
guarded
soda.
truckload of 12-inch CRT DVD combo units, easily
This does
worth
not sound like
several
you tried to
million
make
dollars.
it short.
I have to put the best stuff in here. Then a modified pack
Exterior,
of
desert, night.
a tense lizard stares at the scenery. Okay, a modified pack of Honda Civics steal for themselves. Later, we follow Brian O'Connor as he keeps ordering a tuna sandwich from a cute lady at a corner store until it gets him punched in the face. And then he later shows up to a street race with a fancy modified Mitsubishi Eclipse, which he almost destroys and then loses. When the cops show up all of a sudden, for some reason, Brian helps Dominic Toretto escape, and although they evade the cops, Toretto's rival Johnny Tran shows up to blow up the Mitsubishi with machine guns. Dom then invites Brian to his house, where he chats with Vince, who punched him in the face earlier, and Dom's sister, Mia, who he ordered the tuna sandwich from earlier, and Jesse, who he did not order a sandwich from or get punched by. Mia says that she likes him, but Dom likes him too, and that's clearly what actually matters. We then find out that Brian is an undercover cop, and he's tasked with finding the billions of dollars of DVD players at all costs. Brian still owes Dom a car, so he gives him a totaled Toyota Supra with a bunch of fancy parts inside. They bond over heartwarming tales of Dom's father screaming, burning, racing death. Later, Vince catches Brian snooping around in garages. He and Dom are making him explain himself at gunpoint, but then they all have to hide and witness Johnny Tran pour oil in a guy's mouth because he disappointed him or something. Brian relays to his superiors that he suspects Tran of stealing all the DVD players, and he's okay with them raiding him, which yields nothing except making Tran more enraged. Brian and his superiors then suspect Dom and his crew, of the crimes. He straight up tells Dom he wants to do crime with him. Dom says if he proves himself at Race Wars, where you race against people of other races, he will cut him in. Race Wars comes around. Jesse bets his dad's car against Johnny Tran and loses and then runs away. Dom and crew also run away, but to do crimes. Brian admits to Mia that he's a cop, and he warns her the truck drivers are understandably protecting the DVD players with lethal force, so she helps him intervene. The whole crew drives all around and under a truck while being shot at. Brian narrowly saves Vince's life and has to admit he's a cop to call in an airlift. Later, Dom and Brian have a tense, sweaty standoff. Dom says he has to go look for Jesse, but Jesse just shows up anyway and is murdered immediately by Johnny Tran. Dom makes an escape, and Brian pursues him in a heated street race, and after Dom hits a truck while stealing a glance at Brian, he pulls over to help him, and as the police close in, Brian gives him the keys to the Supra, saying he still owes him a 10-second car, and Johnny Tran lived happily ever after. The end.
Good for Johnny. I was looking at the actor because I was like Rick Yoon, and I realized I recognized him from Die Another Day, which is not a good movie.
No.
But I weirdly do enjoy it. We've talked Die Another
I
Day.
mean, it's only a matter of time before Fast and Furious also has an invisible car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good.
I mean, you could have told me
if
that
they ever
had
get around to
one
making
in
that next
sixth.
one.
Well, one of the things I really enjoyed doing this film, because Mercy has not seen this series, and she's excited to do it, but she watched this film, and it was okay, but she didn't like it that much because it is kind of dull, and if cars don't do anything for you, it's very dull.
That is one of the things on the series. Like most people are like, it takes the fifth one to really put the key in the ignition. Like
But
I'm
I
not.
really enjoyed the whole way through the film. I was just saying shit to her that she didn't believe, but it's all true. Like, yeah, but later on he can kick buildings apart. Yeah, but he hasn't been to space yet.
Right.
Well,
That's the
that's-
thing. You're watching this such a literally on the ground movie. You're like, I mean, it's a little whack. Again, it's 13-year-old boy stuff, but it's not too far removed from reality.
Yeah,
And I'm just
it's
like,
so funny from like you guys don't even know yet. I mean, you've seen Hobbs and Shaw, so you kind of know.
yeah.
But like it starts with just DVD player heists. And
Yeah,
we're gonna
it's
end with
hilarious.
like nuclear submarines and space rockets and
Well, over the
global
course,
threats.
it's funny because over the course of this series, DVD players became worthless. However, the newest movies are still coming out on DVD because DVDs are still being made. So it's just
Yep.
very strange. But what you were saying earlier, Luke, like a while back, you're surprised that I like this because I grew up with gore and tits and
Not
stuff.
necessarily I'm surprised, but
Um,
I was what I imagined I would come in here and you guys would comment on like, this is sort of when I dropped off. So I was pleasantly surprised, maybe is the word.
Well, like I've, I do tend to really like just drama, and this is a good drama that's fun, and I don't know, maybe it's from covering all these movies and seeing older stuff where you kind of have to latch on to the characters, where it's like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are, and a lot of the rest of the cast are just kind of giving off to these movie star vibes, just like, yeah,
Mhm.
hey, what's up? And they're just kind of carrying it in a way that makes it fun. It's just sort of these are the right it's the right cast for this film, and it works, and it's just kind of fun, and it never takes itself too seriously. And when it's silly, it's funny. It's kind of ridiculous that Johnny Tran just shows up
central-
and shoots things and it leaves.
The central bromance is fun.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just the vibe you get is that these people do actually like hang out with each other. Like even
That too.
Vince, right? He's kind of a doucher, but you're like, yeah, but I believe these guys know each other from middle school and they're just friends.
Yeah, I
And
don't want to be
you
at their
have
party,
friends
but
who are fucking douchers, right? But
Yes.
you've known him for years and he's your friend.
I understand they want to be at their party. I just don't want
Yeah.
to be at their party. I want to be at a different party. But
I want to be at their party.
That's
I'm
actually
sorry,
exactly
that
the kind of party I used to be at. Just drinking brewskis, playing video games, hanging out.
playing along with the techno track with your guitar, even though it doesn't really
Yeah.
fit.
you can make it fit, maybe. I don't know, or not.
No, I mean, go back and listen to it.
I guess
Okay.
the difference for me is that seemed like that was the after party. Whereas for me, that would be the pre-drinks and then we'd go clubbing.
Well, yeah, I think that if
But
the
also, we
cop-
did it a street
wait.
race, I guess.
That is a good point. Yeah, they might have had a more chill after party or pre-party. I don't know.
I like to hope
It's-
they didn't have any pre-party before driving those automobiles, Mark.
Oh, you're right. You
Mhm.
gotta stay. You gotta.
We got to
Well,
follow the law. We got
Vin
police
Diesel will do
officers in
many
this movie.
things, but he won't drink and drive.
honestly, if no
Dominic
matter how
Toretto commits vehicular crimes sober.
he lives, he lives what half a mile, half
Quarter
a
mile
sober
at a time.
mile at a time, quarter sober mile at a time. Now, I think if I was driving something that was this expensive, I would have a really hard time drinking a lot before even no matter how irresponsible I was, right? Like that's kind of. But then
The
there's
value of
state-
the car is not what stops me drink driving, Mark. Stop
Okay.
digging.
Now, I am
Okay,
curious
but-
why I didn't watch this film in 2001. I was going to the movie theater a lot in the summer of 2001. I drove a Mitsubishi Mirage at the time. There's Eclipse in here, but
I think the reason I didn't, it wasn't ever until the fifth one. They didn't sell them as action films. It was sold as it's a racing film. I just wasn't that interested.
Yeah, I guess it's like, because especially at that time, it's like, here's a cheerleader film, or something. It's just like this micro genreing at the.
And that's
that
why I
time.
had friends who were super into it and who will swear blind the third one is the best because they were into racing and they played every Need for Speed and every Gran Turismo and they saved up and bought a nice car or whatever. Whereas I was just never that kid.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I play Mario Kart. I love Initial D. I like a car, but I'm not like a car guy.
Yeah, but Mario
Unless that
Kart's
car's
so-
turning into a robot, I'm not that interested.
It's so different. Like, Mark, you and I, we used to play a bunch of Burnout because it's
Oh, yeah,
not
Burnout's
realistic
sick.
at all, right? You're just like destroying each other the whole time in unrealistic ways. So, and Gran Turismo is like the hardcore geek, it's realistic sort of game, which seemed boring.
Yeah, Gran
I
Turismo, you
don't-
have to do the driving test in like a Fiat Punto before you're allowed to do anything else.
Yeah, I have a pretty hard and fast rule about playing games that have too many rules. But then I love Midnight Club games. Burnout 3 and 4 are great. Don't care for Paradise. Come at me, I don't care. I think Outrun 2 is one of the greatest video games ever
Oh
made.
God, I love
Outrun 2 is incredible.
Mark, when you next come to Japan, I found this little arcade in Tokyo. It's just a floor of all the Sega racing games. So they have like
Yes.
Outrun, Outrunners, Outrun 2, like lined up in a row. They have the Sega rallies, they have the Daytonas. It's
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
I'm
That's
sold
great.
on that. Yeah.
Daytona, one of the great things about the Daytonas is that if you drive manual and you drive irresponsibly, your car will just start to come apart by itself. Like if you
Did,
downshift to go around curves a whole lot.
Did any of you guys see that moment a couple years ago where the guy in NASCAR won a race by pulling some shit he learned on the PS2 game?
Yes, against the wall.
Where
Yes,
you just
that
put the
was
car
so
against the
good.
rules so you don't have to decelerate
Uh,
because you're just grinding along the wall.
So good. Didn't
The
they
video
like change
games-
the rules after that? Because
Right, well,
of them?
It's real life.
I've seen a clip on YouTube where it just plays the audio from every other driver seeing it, and they're all saying like, "Oh shit, he's doing that PS2 trick," and then one of them's like, "Well, we'll have a rule change in the morning."
That's great, man. Well, speaking of video games, I
There's
love
one
the
scene where
guy.
they were actually playing.
Yeah, the guy playing Ridge Racer in his car waiting for the race to start was amazing. It's
called
totally
practice.
relatable.
So I guess we
Right.
should talk a little more about like the characters because they are, family does end up being
Yeah.
what the series is about.
Yeah, not much in this one. What did you say? They say family once, was it?
Yeah, the only guy who
One
says
time.
it is his handler at the police.
That was what surprised me. I was like, hey, this is not even the Torettos that's saying family in this case,
But you can feel some family there. They sit down and say grace and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the vibes there. It's just they put a name on it. So you just couldn't work out the name until later movies when they put the name on it,
I mean, who's your family if they're not the FBI guys who are using you to get what they want?
I have so much experience with that, I'll tell you.
This whole thing has been Matt
Sounds believable.
entrapping us into making death threats to the president, Mark. I'm amazed that he's still going. He's got
Fair.
plenty of
I need 2 more.
We have to turn him like in the third or fourth or fifth movie whenever the full turn happens. I'm assuming.
I mean, I could tell you if you want, but
You don't do
It's
that.
not really a spoiler so
It's
much.
starting. It's starting in the second movie for sure. But also the cops are shittier in the second movie. um, but enough about the second movie. No, I mean Paul Walker definitely he has this like fresh faced like I can't I'm a star. I can't believe I'm here. He reminds me a lot of Naomi Watts from Mulholland Drive actually, which is about the same time.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I got more.
It's like
No.
this is the film she was making while all that shit was happening. It's like
Yeah.
how I like Lost in Space because in my head that's the film Joey made when he got big.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good lens to watch it in. Okay.
Because then all the dumb shit makes it better.
Okay, I might have to give that a run then.
For
But
sure.
is Paul Walker though? Basically this is his
Brian
jam, right?
Connor.
He doesn't really get Brian Connor, but I'm thinking about the actor here. I mean,
He
this
has one or two other roles, but this is mainly his thing, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's okay, okay. Because
Well,
I am like, does he quite have the punch to actually? Were they right? Like this guy has to two hand and that'll work, but he's not quite a top over the title star by himself. He can't be a
Uh,
Schwarzenegger. I don't know. Is that gonna?
I
Is
think,
that
well, because they, in this one, and we'll get to it next week, the second one, they pair him with a tougher guy, right?
yeah.
It's like the pretty boy and the tough guy, and he definitely is the pretty boy in that role. I couldn't see him as the main intimidating badass one.
he's
Yeah,
still?
but
I mean,
they're
but watching it when this comes out, he's still kind of the pretty boy because he just done like some basically teen movies. This is his.
Yeah.
Let's grow him up a
No,
bit
that's what I'm
movie.
saying. Yeah, he is the pretty boy, and that's why he needs a Vin Diesel or Tyrese next to
Yeah.
him.
well, there's a I don't know where to talk about this, so we might as well talk about it now. It's interesting that the director of this, Rob Cohen, went on to make Triple X with Vin Diesel the next year, so Vin Diesel will not be in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Hmm.
And in fact, they wrote that film sort of not sure he was going to commit to it, so they just sort of slotted another guy in real quick.
I
Like
actually
he could
think it
abs.
ends up in the series working really well to
Mhm.
add that little backstory to Brian and like that exploration of what happened in the first one through a different character. But yeah,
Well,
it's obvious that they wrote it with like the hopes they would have Vin.
yeah, I mean Tyrese Gibson.
Hmm.
Yes,
Well,
great.
he's just Tyrese in the credits.
Okay, he's just
Really?
Tyrese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
He's
is
he's
kind of
also really interesting because you'll see him in that film, and he's got
Mhm.
like a bit of edge, and he's kind of badass. And then as soon as Vin comes back, he's just comedy sidekick black man.
Uh, I mean, he works incredible in the second movie as
I
sort of
really,
like
yeah,
the guy
I
who
I actually
kind of.
really like their pairing, maybe more
uh,
than Brian and Vin.
yeah, I think this series does something really good, and I know that it continues to the third one, which is that they just take different casts and start
Hmm.
kind of weaving them together, which is a great idea. Not to throw Transformers under the bus, but like you could just you don't have to have Bumblebee and Optimus Prime in every single movie. You know, you could
Hmm.
just give somebody else a
Well, yeah, and
chance.
that's what the comic books and the cartoons always did because they wanted to sell you new toys.
Yeah, but that also works because that's kind of how life is. Like you find yourself at a different job for a couple of years, and then maybe your friend groups kind of intermingle. But
So
that's
we've talked a
actually
lot of
realistic.
Paul Walker, but let's talk the Vin Diesel of it all.
where
Um,
is he when he does this? Is he already doing Riddick or is he like
No, so
mhm.
he's done Point Blank, Pitch
Pitch
Black,
Black.
but he doesn't own the character of Riddick yet. So spoilers, he has a cameo at the end of Tokyo Drift. His fee for that cameo was they gave him the rights to Riddick.
Wow.
He wanted to own that universe so he could adapt it and make bigger films and video games and whatever. And the studio was not interested in doing that, so they gave him the rights in exchange for his cameo in Tokyo Drift.
Oh,
okay?
weird.
Because
And
prior to that, Vin Diesel didn't do sequels.
he was in Saving Private Ryan, which we'll
Yeah,
be
and
talking about
that voicing the
at some
Iron
point.
Giant. Okay, the
Hmm.
Boiler Room is a
Mhm.
supporting part. So
Doing a promotional video for Street Sharks. Have you seen that?
No,
I'll send you the
no.
link after. It's incredible.
uh,
It's
but
Am I
like
remembering right that he trained for ballet? And that's actually why he
sounds.
has a physique?
I mean, if your last name is Toretto, then you should be doing ballet. I'm sorry. Oh wait, that's the character, not Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
If you, I
But
guess
yeah,
your last name's Diesel.
he did theater. It says here
I
he
also,
appeared in the
I'm
children's
fairly
play
certain Diesel is not his given name.
Dinosaurs. Mark Sinclair Vincent. How's that one roll with you?
I have heard that name. What's that from?
That's Vin
What's his
Diesel's
name?
name.
Oh, that's his real
Right,
name?
his
Okay,
last
yeah, I
name
have
is
heard
Vin.
that.
Yeah,
I,
Vincent. Got it. Okay, and then you had Diesel to be cool. Yeah,
so he's
I
another
guess.
Mark. Good for him.
Yeah,
But
I
the
guess
character
even
here, Dominic Toretto, he has a magnetic presence, and they bring it
Hmm.
up in the film. And he's obviously got that gravelly voice. His guns are looking pretty good here. But the character isn't quite Dominic Toretto yet. Like Mercy was really commenting on like he's supposedly with Letty, but he's just perving up every girl they meet. Which again, because this is a 13-year-old boy fantasy movie, he can't be too tied down. But he's not quite the family guy yet.
Of course,
Well,
he's also got to play the role. You know, when Bruce Wayne goes to the parties, he's got to playboy it up, even if he's.
Mm,
I mean, that was one of the fun things about the most recent, the Batman is that that Bruce Wayne, the Pattinson one, was just like not up for that. You know.
yeah.
but that's another thing this movie does good is it was obviously trying to make you not sure whether he's the guy who's stealing all the DVD players,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't really sure, and I kind of part of me didn't want him to be the DVD theft guy. I was like, man, I like
That's
this
how
guy. I hope
Brian
he's nuts.
felt.
Yeah, I felt like Brian. It's like I found Brian's like what he just wants to be with Dom and
Yeah.
for nobody for the world to just go away. And I think that's what Dom wants too.
And
Watching a
then
DVD player.
so there's you mentioned Jesse the Mouser kid.
Hmm.
He died, right? So
Yeah, he was kind of
he was kind of a plot device character.
Is he going to
uh-huh.
show up in later movies?
No, Vince does a little, but Vince also
I
is kind of a plot device character. He's there to so that someone suspects Brian, basically.
I thought he was
And
gonna die,
I liked the
honestly.
angle that they made it. He suspects Brian because he fancies Mia rather than any legitimate reasons.
Hmm.
Mia hangs around.
And
She's okay.
Yeah, I was just
I
actually
like
before
her.
we got on.
I do
was
actually like
checking.
her chemistry with Paul Walker. I think they actually work pretty well together.
It seems
And
basically she's done this in soap operas. Oh,
Yeah.
she's on The Faculty. That was a good movie. But yeah, that's literally about it. This and soap operas. Okay.
Well,
she
she's done
has
a
a
bunch of
great
these. I'm sure she's sorted for life.
yeah. No, she has a great like you genuinely get the feeling that she drives cars and is kind of like crazy but not so crazy that you can't talk to her, which is a
We're
a good role.
we're talking the sister right now. We're not
Yeah,
talking.
Mia. We're talking
Yeah.
Mia. She's just yeah, she has the wild but not insane.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
I didn't see any wild in her.
well, she was driving the car and
Oh
laughing
yeah,
and shit.
but they all do that. That's normal in this world.
Okay, maybe I don't think of that as extremely normal, but
I mean,
it's
of
like
the top 5 build, she is probably the one that has the least just like movie star energy. Because the top
Yeah.
build, is Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and I thought Rick Yoon has a lot of presence. Doing Johnny Tran. Again, remembered him from Die Another Day. So
He is. It's
six.
like Johnny
great.
Tran is kind of there because it does turn out Vin Diesel is the one doing the theft, but they don't really want to position him as the villain of the movie.
So this
So
guy
they throw
really
in like
sucks.
this guy. Yeah, he's not the one doing the DVD theft, but he is an asshole.
I mean, he didn't murder a
And
guy.
that's the big
just-
difference with Point Break, because in Point Break they do let Patrick Swayze be the villain.
And they didn't make 9 sequels in a spin-off.
They did make a remake though. I haven't seen that.
Remakes don't count.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, the movie didn't really know what it wanted to do with Johnny Tran, which made it kind of funny because he did murder somebody, but
Yeah.
and he also I don't know, like the guy owed him Jesse owed him a car. He didn't like come up to him and be like, "I'm taking the car," and then take the car.
No,
He
he
shot him
just
and
drive
killed
by
him,
shot him with an Uzi.
which is just that's pretty funny. That's like RoboCop
Little
level
intense.
humor.
And then Michelle Rodriguez is just Michelle Rodriguez. She's amazing in everything, and I love her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to her like probably stepping into the role more. Because,
Oh, you've got
yeah,
some insane plot lines with her. Don't worry.
hell yeah.
And how early is this in her career? Because I was watching, being like, oh wow, I don't remember her being this young. Um,
Hmm.
Girl
Yeah, I
Fight
guess
did
this is
see
pretty
Girl
early for her
Fight.
as well.
Girl Fight. Oh, Resident Evil's a year after, so this is basically ground zero for her. Okay, so
Hmm.
that's why she looks this young in this. Okay.
Because she is. Yeah, I did you guys think about how it was kind of interesting what we talk about a lot of bad list movies on the other podcast and how a lot of the sort of early 2000s ones are just wall to wall music and I think that kind of works well here. It's kind of silly,
Well,
but
again, it fits that vibe of this is a PS2 game. This is a 13-year-old's idea of cool.
yeah.
That racing game's got the 13 tracks that just keep playing in a loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it does it does just kind of play racing game music. It's if this was just based on a franchise and the video games of this it sort of did come out after this arcade
Yeah.
games, even though they were not. I don't think they had any of the characters. I think it's just you were racing cars
I
and
think eventually the closest one we got is like one of the Forza games has like a Fast and Furious DLC, and they do
Mhm.
bring some of them in as like voice actors who are coming over the radio and telling you to win this race and stuff. But yeah, it's never
That
fully gotten the video game it deserves.
that might have been a turn off for me in 2001 though. The trailer comes on and I get 4 minutes of new metal and I'm like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to see that. Especially in back in 2001
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
But yeah, it had
Well,
a very specific target audience, and I was a little too young and you were a little too old, I guess.
Mm.
I think it's kind of hard to translate racing to a racing with a story to video games because you just want to race, right? Like
Hmm.
I don't know if Mario Kart had a mode where there was a huge story mode, everybody would probably kind of hate it.
Well,
Like if you had cutscenes.
it's the problem video game stories have generally is that in a video game you have to always win. Whereas a
Mhm.
sports story is about ups and downs, losses and wins. Like Rocky's
Yeah,
interesting because he's the underdog and he doesn't quite win that first film.
he doesn't
But
win. In fact, I think
that would be
was he supposed to die? No, wait,
probably that was
that was
Rambo, yeah.
First Blood. Yeah.
Whereas like a video game, the player has to always. And that's why you get some bullshit where like you win a boss fight and then a cutscene happens where you didn't win and stuff like that. Whereas yeah,
Uh,
like if in the video game version, Brian wins that first race against Vin Diesel and then he wins the middle race at Race Wars and then he wins the race at the end and then he wins the car chase and he just wins and wins and wins.
it's a little silly, like specifically when they're racing against the train, and then basically, you see like Toretto's car kind of like blow something, and he's just like, "Uh oh," and then he just sort of looks over carelessly and hits a truck and flips out, and you're like,
Because they were
is
staring into each
God?
other's eyes for their bromance.
It's literally like, did God just make Brian win? That's what it felt like, and also. I was joking about this in my summary, but I cut it out. But really, if he just let Dom get away, it would have been the same result. He just
Yeah.
basically he raced against him,
Lost a car in the
made
process.
him lose his car, and then gave him his car, and he still got
You
away.
owed him a 10-second
So
car.
he just wanted to stare at him for 10 seconds.
Well, Dom wanted that race.
I mean, the race was great. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that race not to be in the movie.
Yeah, also
It's just
that's the
great.
iconic Dominic Toretto car, so I'm glad we got.
If this movie had come out in the early 70s, though, the train would have gotten them both.
Yeah.
I mean, if the
And there
train
would be
had
no
gotten them
sequel.
both, I wouldn't have minded
Or
that. But
the film would have cut as they are about to hit the train and you wouldn't know.
it freeze
We've got a
framed
bit
with them
more of a
looking at
Point
each
Break
other.
ending, right?
No, I want the Easy Rider ending where they're dead on the middle of the road for the last shot.
Yeah, and then like the warning comes up about driving safely. All right,
You want
let's get to some scores because I got to leave soon.
Or
Okay.
The Goonday ending where it shows them like just drive off and shows the pictures of them, and then you hear the train noise.
Hmm.
You guys don't remember Goonday, do you?
How fast out of five?
Oh wait,
Luke doesn't care about Gunday anymore.
I'm gonna give this six fast, four furious because I know that
Out
like
of how
there
many?
has to be
10?
better.
Are you
10.
doing out of 10? Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, we didn't talk about that either. By
Yeah,
the
I
way.
just said out of five, and then you immediately said six.
You're like, wow, you must have gone real fast, man.
Okay, we could do. I just figure that.
I hate a 10-point score, but I've got a little bit of time for
Okay.
a 5-point score.
Okay.
Makes you commit.
Then three fast, two furious.
I'm gonna give it three fast. Yeah, I think at three fast, I'm right.
Should that have been the name of the third movie?
Three fast, two furious, three family.
Hmm. I'm going to agree with you guys, but I'll take the family down to 2 because I don't know these people yet. You know them
I'm
better,
also
so
gonna
you
take
go
a
for
two
3.
That
family
might be
for
part of
this.
it for me as well. Yeah, retroactively, you can watch it and see like the relationships that are gonna bloom later. So
See, are my numbers getting stunted though? I mean, I'm agreeing with you who's seen them all, but I'm like, well, it's got to be 3 Fast, 2 Furious because these movies I know are going to get
they're
way
gonna
more
get a lot
whack.
more Fast and
Yeah.
I
Furious.
need to hold that, number back a little bit. Maybe when we get to 5, we do have to increase the 10-point score for the final
That
score.
would be so
That was the
appropriate for
reason.
this series if we start just like, oh, this one gets a 408 out of 5
Yeah.
Okay,
because
well,
they
okay.
achieved escape velocity.
So actually, Mark, you had it correct when you gave a 6 out of 5. I mean, maybe not for this movie, but you'll be giving these scores. You're going to be
Fine.
Infinity
Okay.
+1.
Okay.
Infinity times infinity. Fuck you.
Remember, kids, don't drink and drive.
Um.
I hope that's where we get by that point. Hey, I have
Hey.
bad reviews queued up. Maybe you got good ones?
Oh, I don't know. We didn't talk about whether we were gonna do that, but I figured, sure, you go with the bad and I'll find the good.
Okay, I got what I'm looking at now, man. I've been prepping. The worst movie since Ishtar. The race scenes were the only interesting part, and they weren't all that great. I've seen better acting on South Park. I was so bored I wanted to fall asleep, but the wall of noise managed to keep me awake. If you like racing, watch ESPN, not this terrible movie. That's August 2001, so it's pretty, in the pocket. Pretty balanced with helpful, unhelpful, 8 helpful, 9 unhelpful. So,
Mhm.
uh this is another 2001. So what the worst film
Oh,
ever. What can I say? The worst film of 2001, the worst film of the millennium? Yes, I'd say so. Awful plot, awful acting, terrible quote unquote action scenes, and probably the most amount of testosterone in a film. Never watch this film, never go near it in the cinema, never buy it on VHS DVD. This excuse for a film deserves to be burnt and never shown again.
God, wow, such passion. Okay, here's a 10. Insanely fast. This movie has by far the best car racing scenes ever filmed, as well as the best cars. They're gorgeous machines, and these guys certainly can drive them. Great story, not just another Gone in 60 Seconds where all they did was steal cars. There actually weren't very many race scenes, as you might expect, but every shot is filled with cars, and lots of them. That's not true. The acting is great as well. As usual, Vin Diesel gives a brilliant performance as Dominic Toretto. It has already earned a massive following, and when you leave the theaters, you will be filled with such a massive adrenaline rush that you and your buddies will be left with the feeling that you must go out and race. Everybody I've talked to has said the same thing. It just has this crazy adrenaline rush it gives you. I highly recommend this to all fans of cars and racing, but it has something for everybody, so go see it even if you're not a fan of either. Bottom line, just see it. 5 exclamation points. 58 out of 90 found that helpful. This is from 2001.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of these I'm finding tons of, within year of released reviews here. So,
I like how that
not
was
finding
basically like you should see it if you like cars, but even if you don't like cars, but there are cars everywhere, but you must race when you see it. It's just
cars,
like-
cars, cars. Monumentally irritating if you know anything about engines. I like that. I'm not going to read that one because you can tell where that one's going. I do have another one with too many words. That's fun though. Holy cow! Here's a true piece of tripe. Inane, moronic, subhuman plotline with horrible acting, stupid dialogue. I can't understand kids. They're just so easily swayed and liking these contrived pieces of filth. When I was 15 or 16, I wasn't looking at these kinds of stupid, over-the-edge, loud rap metal music playing in the background of every scene of movies. What's the deal with kids these days? The majority actually think that this was a good movie. I'm scared for these people. Some of these ones will go on to be doctors, lawyers, even more important members of Hollywood. It frightens me to think of an award-winning director 25 years down the road naming the films that molded his cinematic direction. Ah, with a rash of crap getting made like Fast and Furious, The Musketeer, A Knight's Tale, American Outlaws, and any other dim-witted fluff out there. It's a wonder you can actually find a good film out there, let alone a good movie. I like
Ugh.
how that's like the old man screaming at the clouds review there.
Disclaimer, I actually hate this review, but I'm reading it anyway. This is also from 2001. It's titled Both Sexes. If you think that this movie is only for the male population, ladies, think again. This film, The Fast and the Furious, had its female points of interest as well as the male points of interest. If you still don't believe me, go out and see it. It is worth the money the theaters are asking us to pay now.
Hey, you get a bargain in 2001. That's like a $6 ticket, right?
Yeah, that was just a weirdly structured up, but it felt like they were trying to say something like creepy, but they didn't actually say anything. And then they were just like, it's worth whatever. Yeah, the $6 at that point, I guess.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, ladies fantasize what they can do with Vin Diesel's head or something, you know?
Here's another from. I'm just gonna read 2001 ones because there's so many. Wow, this movie will blow you away. It's got car crashes, adrenaline pumping music, and hot actors. The acting is very good, especially on the part of Vin Diesel. With his strong portrayal of Toretto, he manages to outshine the main character played by Paul Walker. along by Vin, Along with
The
Vin and his
two-hander.
Arnold Schwarzenegger-like body, he really did mangled the spelling of Schwarzenegger. The viewer is treated with some jaw-dropping car crash scenes, spectacular race footage, and a strong accompanying soundtrack. Also, for the men in the audience, there are plenty of good-looking women to feast your eyes on. Do you lack adrenaline in your life? This movie will cure your problem. I don't think that's a thing that people say.
I found another one that called it tripe. That's fun. This is interesting though. I'm looking at
Tripe.
the dates on these, and most of them are 2001, 2002. I've seen nothing past 2006. I guess it's just like when
Mhm.
there's such a massive reviews, because I guess we usually don't cover films quite this, big, because we're watching Bollywood films that don't get many IMDb reviews. Because I guess you would look somewhere else for your Bollywood reviews.
There's there's a review that keeps referring to Paul Walker as Scott Walker.
The singer?
Yeah, I
That would
guess.
have been a cool soundtrack for this. Get the like
Okay.
he'd be like slabbing on a blag of meat, a slab of meat. That'd be
All
great.
right.
Scott Walker soundtrack for Fast and Furious. Someone cut that.
I got one more. And it says, "Get ready to feel the rush." Every word in this review is capital. Starts with a capital letter. The Fast and the Furious is an action thriller that just keeps on coming. By the end, you will say, "Wow, the writing is just fantastic." Great acting by Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. Diesel is the one that just stands out all the way through the movie. I must say that he is a rising star, but be on the lookout for upcoming action movie Triple X. Don't let the name fool you. Now see the Fast and the Furious in the theater, or if it is not in the theater, then see when it comes to video. This movie is a action gem. Enjoy. And then there's 4 asterisks, which I don't know if that means they put a curse word in there.
Yeah, you can curse on IMDb, can't you? We've
I don't know.
we've read obscene reviews from IMDb, haven't we? I don't know. Yeah, now I don't know now that you bring it up, but
I
yeah, I have nothing else because I accidentally opened my tab into its new window and then the window crashed. So
I
I
don't think it
finished.
does
I'm
because I
finished.
just like did a search for curse words and they're not coming up.
Oh, okay. I guess yeah. I guess we've just seen a lot of things where people use exclamation points or whatnot.
Anyway, speaking of exclamation points, you should exclamation point. No, that's not where the exclamation point goes. You should go to podcastiopodcastius.org exclamation point. That's also not part of the address. To check other podcasts like Podcast 1999, where we're going to be talking about the animated Planet of the Apes, rounding out our apesomania of the last year or so. Luke Loves Pokemon, where he talks a bunch of Pokemon. Some of them go really fast. Some of them are furious. um, Time Enough podcast about the Twilight Zone and adjacent properties. Game Show, the game show about games. Wow, there are a lot of racing games, aren't there? Think about that. And in Prison, which you could listen to about the prisoner and about Severance.
Adam Scott goes racing through hallways a lot in that show.
True, there are cars. There's a motorcycle.
No, 80s
Um,
cars.
and Monster Mash about Monster Hunter. Some of the monsters really fast. So anyway, join us next week for Too Fast, Too Furious.
Say it correctly. You got to sell it.
Too Fast, Too Furious, Too Family.
Too fast, too furious. You got to get the gravel in there, man.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
There we go. They're putting on some nos there.
I drank some NOS before the podcast. I should be drinking NOS every time we record one of these. What's wrong with me?
I've never had an energy drink. A few months ago,
What?
I mentioned that at a training thing, and I was like, I've never had a Monster. Excuse me, I've never had a Monster. And they were like, you don't need a Monster. So okay.
You don't, but that hasn't stopped me from consuming probably about 3,000 of them. I'm still alive. I'm fine. I'm doing great. I don't know where to stop.
I was just waiting for you to finish.
All right.
Okay,
I'm finished.
I'll stop this shit. Monday night, you want to do that first ape thing?
Yeah, and Phil said he's down to do this. It's Too Fast, Too Furious, same time.
Okay.
So
yeah, the only person I was tracking down was Devin, who we could throw in any film, so he doesn't.
Cool.
Be new to it, so I don't think it matters which one.
Did I tell you Brian was interested in doing 5? Like he was up for doing other stuff, but
I
do we
guess my
have
main
somebody for
point is
5?
you and Luke be in conversation about who the guests are. I'm not
Okay.
gonna bother, so that makes things easier anyway.
Okay, well I'm pretty.
Except
Brian
I'll
say, I
slot
mean,
in Devin where I can, Otherwise, you
Brian,
guys
yeah.
can work it out. I guess I'll stop recording since we're now just
Okay.
small talking it.
Yeah,
Well,
Brian wanted to do
are you-
5
stop
and
recording.